Good evening, everybody. It's December 18th, approximately 6:30 p.m., and this is a regularly scheduled meeting of the Wareham School Committee. I will call it to order. We are missing April Rossi, who unfortunately has a family emergency, but hopefully she will be able to join us at some point during the meeting. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting is being recorded for WCTV by Mr. Day behind the curtain, so to speak, as well as Mrs. Wixton is taking notes and has an audio recording as well. I'll begin the meeting with public participation. Is there anybody who would like to address the committee?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Deanna Semple, phys ed teacher at the elementary school and middle school, and Wareham Education Association president. I have here the gifts of flexibility to handle all that is asked from the Wareham Education Association paras, and that is what they do every day for our students. I'm here because, for one reason I'm here today is because I receive all of the incident reports, accident reports that come into the superintendent's office. So staff that are injured, whether they trip or whether they're injured by another student. And those have been increasing drastically, and I believe that is in direct correlation to the understaffing that we have. And I want to be clear, it's not because we don't have enough assistant principals. It is because we do not have enough paraprofessionals, people who work with students face-to-face every day. We don't have enough. We are losing them. We lost a couple because our contract has not been ratified yet, has not been signed yet. I'm looking at you because you're right in front of me. I preach into the choir, I know. We thank you for your vote. We thank April. I hope all is well with her. So mainly Joyce, Kevin, and Roger. These words are for you. There is an unsafe situation at the schools with not enough staff. If we don't pay our staff enough, they leave. If we don't pay our staff enough, we can't hire new staff because they are not, they're not coming. That being said, we know that the riff here is not because of pay, because we already agreed on that. You said it's not financial. So, you know, we scratch our heads. We're not really sure what the problem is, but we are urging you once again to vote on the contract that your fellow school committee members sat for months and negotiated in good faith and agreed to. And I know you can't respond. We all know you can't respond, so verbally, but you can respond in written form if you would like to respond to anything that we raise here tonight. So
Thank you, Deanna.
You're welcome. I'm going to give this gift to you.
Jeff, can I just say something? I know we're not able to respond in public participation. I do just want to point out that when we're negotiating, that we do sign ground rules, and maybe not everyone is aware of this, but we sign ground rules that specifically say that we can't I'm talking to Jeff, that we cannot negotiate in public, right? So I just want to point that out for those that don't know that in the audience. So thank you. I was just pointing that out to you as the chair, just reminding you. Thank you.
Yes, but I would also point out that I don't believe this process is negotiation. Okay, is there anybody else who would like to address the committee? Please.
Here's the perseverance to continue working without a contract. I am a mother. I've attended Wareham schools my whole life. I have two disabled.
I'm sorry, your name was?
My name's Jessica.
Jessica. Welcome, Jessica.
Thank you. I have two disabled kids in the school district that have gone through the school of years. This is my other daughter, and my other daughter's graduated. I've lived in town my whole life. My son's a special needs level 3, epilepsy, sensory disorders, nonverbal, and there has been incidents that have happened that probably could have brought a lawsuit to the town. But I love their teachers and I love their parents. They are severely underpaid, they're severely understaffed. My sons wear GPS locator bracelets because they're runners. And if they take off, the sheriff's department can find them in 30 minutes. I go through everything I can to keep my children safe, and I assume they're safe when I put them in the hands of the school. So when paras are being pulled into other classrooms or they're not being hired because there's not enough money, it's putting my child's life at risk. And I pay taxes, and that's not what I pay for. So I've emailed the superintendent, but I know he's leaving. These are disabled. The elderly and disabled in this town are severely wronged, and it really needs to be revamped. They need their raises. They need to care for the children. The autism rate is rising. This isn't going to go away. It's going to get worse. And you guys really need to take that into consideration. My daughter has an example of what happened. Now, my sons are in freshman year in high school. She has an example from when they were in elementary school.
What's your name?
My name's Kayla Boucher.
Welcome.
Thank you. I have two disabled autistic brothers, level 3, and one of them has epilepsy, and they are nonverbal, and they also don't know if they're at a street, whether to look right or left both ways to see if a car is coming. When DECUS was open, and I went to DECUS, he got out. One of my brothers, Jason, he got out of the school. It wasn't an issue with their parents. It wasn't their teachers. It wasn't a teacher issue. It was an issue that they didn't have enough staff. The teachers were great, but there was a para that wasn't trained properly, and my brother got out to the road, to the street, DECUS Street. Now, that's a pretty busy road, and what would happen if my brother got hit by a car, and because he didn't look both ways? What would happen? Like, there'd be lawsuits on the town, there'd be a lot of things happening, or any child. DECUS was for little kids, a school with little kids, any child, really. And especially kids that are disabled. They don't know whether to look right or left. They don't know to look if a car is coming. My brother could have easily been hit by a car that day, and they did not inform my mom about that either. They did not inform my mom about that incident. I informed her when I got home. I said, hey, my brother got out today. And she called the school. And it was a big issue.
And I don't think people that don't deal with special needs on a daily basis don't understand. There's all different levels, but there's levels where they have bloody noses daily. They play in feces daily. They have to be watched to take a bite and reminded to swallow their bites. Otherwise, they're going to be in the hospital because they can't gain weight. There's so many things that these children need that when you're looking at it on paper, you don't understand the severity of it.
I'm sorry, I need you to wrap up your remarks.
Okay. And I just wanted to make you guys aware, as parents in this town with special needs children, it needs to be addressed sooner than
And
later.
every kid is also different, so I think we should go through more training, too.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll just leave this up here.
Is there anybody else who would like to? Welcome, sir.
Hi. My name is Jordan Johnson. I bring the gift of hard work every day despite no contract. I'm here on behalf of my mother. She's the recently appointed president of the Wareham CPAC. So, without further ado, my name is Heather Lahome and my son Jordan is here today on my behalf. Until last week, I had little perspective and insight into what our paraprofessionals encounter every day, and it is appalling that approving the already negotiated contract has continued to be delayed and rejected. Approving this contract is a direct reflection of the recognition and appreciation for all the care and devotion the paraprofessionals demonstrate every single day. They are hands-on, actively responsible for the growth, development, and safety of the students and staff. To continue to deny them their rightfully owed contract renewal is to repeatedly send them a clear message that you believe that they are not worth it. The commitment that these paraprofessionals have shown to the children that they serve each day is admirable beyond words and deserves an extra set of recognition. The paraprofessionals could receive higher pay, safer work conditions, and their owed breaks doing nearly any other job. Yet day in and day out, despite the incredibly unfair and unsafe conditions that they are being subjected to, they continue to show up for your children, for our children, for the children of the community. As a parent and a member of the community, I am embarrassed to take this meeting. I am embarrassed that this meeting even needs to be held. I ask you each directly, what will it take in order to approve this contract? What will it take in order for you as a member of the school committee to finally recognize all that the paraprofessionals do and that they are invaluable? To speak of the bottom line, the dollar, will it take these conditions leading to the school district being sued due to the inevitable endangerment or injury, if not worse, of a student or a staff member? I implore you to make the right decision today, to finally make the decision that is best for our community, for our staff and students. There should be no hesitation, no further need for discussion, and no debate as to the worthiness of the paraprofessionals and their receiving of their rightfully owed contract approval. Do right by them, do right by the community, do right by the students, and approve this contract. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello,
Good evening.
my name is Marilyn Morley. I've been a para at Wareham Elementary School for 5 years. Joyce handed us our salaries before we sat down. I know them, but it does seem like she wanted me to share it. So I've been here for 5 years, and I make just under $29,000 a year. I have 2 children. I bring home less than $500 a week, and I can't afford to live in my own home. Rented, owned, a trailer, nothing. I live with my uncle. I have a baby and a 12-year-old with special needs. And while I understand that this is not about money, I don't know if everybody else does, we have a huge staffing issue in our school. And we have a lot of incidents happening at our school because we don't have the staff, which directly affects me and my family because I am crisis prevention, so I'm the one taking the hits for less than $500 a week. I also come to work at 7:30 every morning so that my class is prepared because there hasn't been a teacher there all year who I've been subbing for. I eventually got paid for that. But I come early and I stay late every day, and I would consider that to be volunteer work, considering I'm not getting paid what I would consider fairly every week, and I'm definitely not getting paid extra for what I consider to be above and beyond. So I think it's fair to ask volunteers who are on the school committee to offer a fair contract, which is for 2 years so that we can align with everybody else. And I understand that that's work for you and you guys. I know it's extra work, it's another contract to learn, but you volunteered to do it. Just like I volunteer to show up at work at 7:30 and stay late because you are understaffed. I don't fill out the timesheet because we're poor and understaffed. That is my volunteer work. That's my gift to you. What I would like your gift to be is fairly treating us with a 2-year contract so we can negotiate with literally everybody else, because it's not fair. And $500 a week after 5 years isn't impressive. We're here because we care about the kids in the district. We want you to care as much about the kids in the district. Because right now, we have people getting hurt, we have outbursts and language in classrooms that I would never even repeat at this table because it's foul. And it would all be preventable if we had staff, which we will not get if we continue to fight with each other over what is right and what is wrong. you volunteer to do what is best for the children in this town, do what is best for them. I don't care about my money, which is why I live with my uncle. Who I do care about are the kids in this town who are being let down by everybody because they don't have a safe classroom anymore.
I'm sorry, I need you to wrap up, please.
We need to make sure that the school is safe for all children and staff, and there is nobody else above you. We need you to help us, or it's going to cost a lot of money because people are going to get more hurt than they already have. It has been 70 days, and we have people with staples in their heads.
Thank you.
Help.
So I have the gift of empathy for students and families from W.A. Paras. My name is Calla Renly, and I am a para at Wareham Elementary for the last 3 years, and it's a mess right now. I came from a sub-separate room. I worked with Marilyn, and I was pulled to another room because we didn't have enough staff to cover that other room, which has now left her, a sub-separate room should have 2 paras and a teacher, so 3 adults with these kids, and there's only 2. She can kick open the door and be like, I feel like I have an unsafe room right now, and I come in and I help with what I need to be doing. I'm leaving my teacher, who I'm a para for, to help her because her room is not safe. And for us to say that that's okay and you think that this is fine, it's not. These kids are going to get hurt. Teachers are going to get hurt. Paras are going to get hurt. Whether you want to wait for that to happen, that's your choice right now. It's in your ballpark. We need your guys' support so we can support these students. And yesterday I had an incident with a student where over 45 minutes, and I had to kick open the door and say, I need help. And she helped me for another 45 minutes. And then all at the end was he just needed a hug. He just needs the love. And that's what we come for. We love these kids for our own. I don't need to be here. Thankfully, I'm one of the lucky ones where my husband can support my lifestyle and our lifestyle, but I do it because I love these kids. I do it because I want to be there for them. But not everybody does. There's paras that can't be here because they work multiple jobs, but they still come in every day to get kicked down, to get beaten up, to get bit, to get staples in their head, but they still come back. But we need your help. We need your support so we can support our kids. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Michelle Houghton, sub-separate teacher at Wareham Elementary School.
I'm her daughter. I am Alyssa Houghton, and I'm just her daughter. I'm 17 years old.
Just?
Just my daughter, yeah. She's actually volunteered with me in the summers, so. So I bring the gift of willingness to work with the most needy students. So I feel like deja vu and a broken record. I've come here, this is our 3rd time of negotiation, and I feel like I say the same thing every time. Without our paras, we would have a lot more kids out of district. We know it costs a lot of money to send kiddos out of district. We have sub-separate classrooms to keep our kids because we want them in least restrictive environment. If we don't have the staff, because they're not getting paid, then unfortunately we're going to have a lot more kids go out of district. And our paras go above and beyond. I know everyone knows that, but I really want it to sink in because tomorrow is the 75th day of school, and they are still working without a contract. We want things to be safe, we want things to be fair, and most of all, we just want to provide what's best for our students. We have a very high special needs population in Wareham, and for us to be able to do best by them, we need to make sure that we are valuing the people who work in our district. And paras are some of the most hardworking, underpaid people. And it's not just here, it's everywhere. But our paras go above and beyond. They're definitely not here for the pay. And I think we just need to recognize that.
And I will go more on the hard work. So my gift is the gift of compassion for all students. I have done volunteer work in my mother's classroom. I have seen all of the different needs that these kids have. The paras do so much work and they still have a smile on their face. My example is everyone used to call her Nana Pat. She's Pat Fernandez. She died from COVID a while back, but she was the most hardworking, caring woman I have ever met. She taught me to stand up for myself, and like she does, she taught all those kids to stand up for themselves. She put so much work into caring for children, and that is the same with every para. They go into stressful situations where they can get hurt very easily from these kids who don't understand like how much they can hurt someone, and they still come out and they still care for these children. They still go on with their day, and they do it with little to no pay. So my gift is the gift of compassion, because I have learned lessons from so many paras that I have met, that they work hard for a job that they love and the children that they love.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else who would like to come before the committee?
Good evening. My name is Michael Potts. I'm a veteran business owner in the community, and I have 2 kids that attend the Wareham Elementary School.
Good evening.
Hi, I'm Alexis. I have 2 kids that attend the Wareham Elementary School with Mike.
Over the last couple of years, my children have been through tremendous growth and opportunity while at the school, but we've noticed there's a slight decline in our children's behavior because they do not have enough one-on-one time with paras in the first grade classroom. My daughter, who's in the special education area, she
has several of the paras. She's in Miss Houghton's class, actually, and without Miss Houghton and the paras, she wouldn't be in school. She's almost 9, and she just started because we were in Carver, and their school system, the way it was set up, I was just petrified to put her back in school after that. When we moved here, I just homeschooled her, and I kept her with me because she has a lot of needs like that I didn't think could be met at school. I didn't think anybody could handle her because I was having a hard time handling her. And when I met Ms. Houghton and her class and the way it's set up, it's like I trust them with my daughter, and without all of them working together, like she wouldn't be able to go there. And they do so much, like so much. They get hurt, like they just do more than they should have to go through. Like they need the support. And I'm just learning today that they don't get paid as much as the teachers, and that's heartbreaking to me because it's so expensive to live right now. It's so expensive to buy food right now. And these people are just coming up and show up 150% every day for our daughter. And I watch my son's classroom, he's in first grade, and they don't have the extra help. The teachers like team up together to help each other, but they need more help. Like this is just heartbreaking to me. And I feel like I've done my job by learning what's going on. But now that I know, like, we have to be a part of the solution because our daughter's just gonna get older and bigger and need more support, and we need these paras. Like, without them, she wouldn't be able to go to school. So we need your help.
The fact that so much money's been spent on attorneys to, keep this going and snowballing instead of paying professionals to come in and take care of children, to be there to teach them, educate them, to benefit the community, the school system. That's completely wrong on all levels.
It just doesn't make sense. Just pay them. They need the money. It's so expensive to live just every day. You guys know going to the grocery store is crazy now. So I would hope that you would take that into consideration because the cost of living is astronomical right now.
Thank you very
Barely
much.
getting by.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jack Jennings. I'm a special ed teacher at the elementary school in a sub-separate classroom. I got kindergarten, first, and second grade, so all of them. But I'm coming here with the gifts of knowledge and the best strategies, meaning that parents who have experience to work with certain kids, they're gonna, like someone mentioned earlier, all kids unique. You can't just be throwing random people in every day or like switching people around, pulling them in classes, and it's not good for the kids because you need someone who knows the best thing to do. And I could go on. I've worked here for 5 years, and I've had plenty of paras who have put in 100%. And I'm not going to be redundant because I know that we've said like how amazing they are, and I can't say it enough. I think that the one thing I want to bring is that people always say, oh, you're a special ed teacher, you have so much patience, you're such a saint, et cetera, not to gas myself up. But the point being is that people say this thing, and there's like one of the reasons I really think that I can, like, it makes it so much easier is this one phrase, and I think that you guys should all write it down. It's that all behaviors are a form of communication. And that a child is not acting out because they're a bad person or because they want to be mean to you, but because they're asking for something and they need something and they don't have the skills to do that. And it's crazy in the school district, not even just special education in the general education setting, like the trauma that these kids have experienced and the behaviors that we are seeing, like these kids are screaming for help and we're failing them because we're not giving them enough support. And I feel like the best way to do that would to have more staffing in the school because you're going to have more people with education, knowledge, and the best strategies of how to work with these kids and how to best support them and to, make sure that you're hearing this. And I wrote this down, like, we should be a school district that's leading this in the state. And this is across all of Massachusetts and all of the country. Like, education is changing. And why don't we be proactive and be a leader in the state of like, this is how we're going to deal with this problem of this new generation of children who have all this trauma and these different sets of skills that we need to like hone in on. I mean, I would think that you would want Wareham School District, when you think of the best districts in Massachusetts, like I would want our name to be up there and be like a bastion of education in the state, someone who can lead a movement. So, yeah, that's what I have to say.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I know most of you. I'm Nancy Cedarholm, and I'm a admin, special ed admin at the elementary school. As Jack said, I don't want to be redundant, but I'm going to give it to you in a different perspective. Right now, at the elementary school, we have approximately 250 special ed students. A good portion of them are sub-SEP that need paras in their rooms and familiar paras because a lot of the sub-SEP children do not like to be introduced to new faces. It takes a while for them to get acclimated. And that being said, with that, I've already done 150 meetings, notices. So when a meeting is scheduled, there has to be a para taken from a room to go into, to cover for a teacher that may not be the teacher that they are a para for. And that's just mine. That's not the other secretaries at my school. I can only imagine how many meetings she has done. She's at the lower level. She's at pre-K through 1. I'm 2 to 4. And again, I've done 150. And some of those, I should say, are 504s, and a lot of our children that don't have IEPs, don't qualify for IEPs, they go on 504s. And some of those are because of behavior, not because of academic. And I think it's kind of unfair to take paras and put them willy-nilly wherever. And I know it's the only way to get coverage, but you really do need a lot more paras in order to cover, and you're not going to get them if you're not paying them a higher wage. Just like secretaries, we weren't getting secretaries either. So we lift them up to a certain level. Well, maybe it's time to lift up our paras to start at a much higher level as well. And with that, I give you the gifts of support to all students and staff from the WEA paras. Kevin? There you go.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to address the committee? Seeing none, I will move on to good news. Mr. Superintendent, Dr. Superintendent, do you have any good news for us?
So, couple of things for good news. Do we want to take a pause?
Hold on one second. Just your school email.
Yeah.
It's Arbona.
It's our vote?
Yes.
It didn't pop up when I did it earlier.
Is that correct, Jamie?
It's been on the website.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
All right, I got a couple of things for good news. First of all, you might remember a couple weeks ago, our middle school chorus went to the Providence Bruins hockey game and they performed. Before they sang, I think, America the Beautiful, I think.
Maybe.
And the next day, Principal Dr. Sarah Russo received the following email from someone who was at the game, not connected to the school in any way. Just want to make that clear. She gave her full name. I'm just going to call her Lisa.
Is this a resident of Wareham or?
No.
Thank you.
Someone who was at the game. She said, "My name is Lisa. I was in attendance at the Providence Bruins hockey game on Friday night and was able to see your school's chorus performance. We were also seated right next to your students in the neighboring section of the stadium, and I just wanted to congratulate your group on an extraordinary performance. Not only did they perform well, they were one of the best behaved middle school groups I have ever seen, and I have taught middle school for almost 17 years in a district in Rhode Island. The chaperones were so organized, the kids were so well-mannered and respectful as they enjoyed the game. My husband and I were so impressed by your students, teachers, and the chorus director, and I just thought you'd like to know. So,
Thank
I thought that was
Thank you for
great.
sharing that, yeah.
It's wonderful to hear we're creating good citizens.
That's right. And then I also have our class of 2026 John and Abigail Adams Scholarship recipients. We have a number of students here that I'd like to congratulate, and I am asking the high school principal to help me. I don't want to mispronounce any student's name. I think it's important to get it correct, so I'm going to bring in an expert.
The heavy hitters.
So congratulations to the following students.
Danielle Amazian, Jolie Anderson, Abigail Bolano, Samantha Baptiste, Spencer Bering, Samantha Bumpus, Ryan Dame, Trinity DeSola, McKenna Duggan, Henry Geis, Matthew Gordon, Marina Kuta, May Langier, Colby Maricini, Clarissa McBride, Camden Morrison, Ariana Morse, Max Rocha, Kaylee Rose, Priscilla Ross, Landon Stewart, Johnny Tompkins, and Avery Travers. Thank you.
Thank you, and I just want to, for folks who might not know, the John and Abigail Adams Scholarship is a merit-based program that provides credit towards tuition for up to 8 semesters of undergraduate education at a Massachusetts state college or university. For this scholarship, merit is based on student scores on the 10th grade MCAS test. There were 23 students recognized from Wareham High School, so congratulations. And I know they're going to receive a letter from the chair, so that's nice.
That's outstanding. Another reason to work hard on the MCAS.
That's right.
So, Priscilla, just a question for you. The percentage of awardees that actually use it, that take advantage of this scholarship, historically seems to have been relatively low. Is that a fair statement?
I don't think that's a fair statement.
Oh, really?
No.
So quite a few students, more than half of these kids will actually use the scholarship.
Correct.
Oh, that's
Every year it's rising, too.
that's great to hear. That's great to hear. Then I withdraw the question because I was going to ask why it was so low, but it's not, so it's all good. Any other good news from the committee? Yes.
I just want to say congratulations to the PTA and everyone else who had anything to do with the Christmas fair at the elementary school. It was great as always, although I'm still waiting for my call to tell me I'm a raffle winner. I don't know. Guess it's not coming. The middle school concert last week, I just want to thank Ms. Francesi for the invitation. She's always so good to send out an invitation, and they did such a good job. She does such a good job at the middle school chorus and band, so it was a great show. And I'm going to go back about a month now because I feel like we haven't had a meeting where we could share good news since we attended Friendsgiving at the high school. So it's an annual event. Scott, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the whole young adult program is part of it. Dr. DeAndrea and I, we served up some turkey and mashed potatoes, and they transformed the library into a dining room for these kids, and it was really, really great. So I know I'll thank Erin Wurlitzer, but I know there are lots of other folks that had a lot to do with it. So good for them for putting on such a really, really nice event. The kids just love it. That's it. Thank you.
Anybody else with some good news? You're on, Priscilla.
Okay, so starting off with sports, winter sports season started up, and both of our basketball teams are doing really well. They're both 2-0 winning right now, and I get to work the concession stand sometimes through DECA, so I get to see everybody really excited. The games get packed, especially if it's like a close game. Like we recently faced ORR, Old Rochester, and like there's so many people there. Everybody was so excited when we won, and I think it's just a really good season to start up. Track had their first meet yesterday, or our first official meet yesterday. Unfortunately, we both lost, but it's really exciting just to get back into a sports season again. For DECA, yesterday we hosted our Cards and Cookies, where we partner with All American Assisted Living, and we make cards throughout December. And with our culinary program, we were able to make cookies, and we went and delivered them, and it's a really good community service event. And then after the winter break, we also have our district competition on the 8th and 9th in Hyannis, and we get to bring around 50 students this year, and that signed up, and it's really exciting. It's one of my favorite parts of DECA. For drama and band, our drama department put on A Christmas Carol December 5th through 7th, and I was able to go to the play, and I heard it was very successful. They seemed very happy with it, and they're able to start up their spring, well, they have their festival and their spring musical. For band and chorus, they had their winter concert on the 11th, and we were actually able to have an advisory performance as well, and many people went to that and really liked it. Key Club, they were able to sponsor a few children who are in the DCF and got Christmas gifts for them, and I knew people, they were very excited about that as well. And then for seniors, many people are like applying to colleges, receiving decisions. We have colleges visiting the school, and lots of senior planning coming up for our trip and senior week. Yeah.
So I have one complaint. You made cookies.
Yeah. We didn't go to our cards and cookies drop off. We didn't get it.
Did anybody get
Good answer.
appointed, alerted to the drop-off? That was the way you get cookies?
Next
did
time I'll
not.
let you
I
know.
happen to know your superintendent is a fan of cookies.
Very, very much so.
All right, next time we want an alert so we can show up.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll let Kunia know.
Thank you, Priscilla.
Jeff,
Yes.
can I just say, I don't have a question for you, Priscilla, but I just want to say that I know they're looking for judges for the district competition, so anyone who's here or who's listening and wants to judge, I'm sure.
I volunteered.
You already did?
I did.
Okay,
yes.
all right.
I
See
got
you
an
there.
email. I got an email from somebody.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you're going to be there too? All right, well, see you there.
That's in January, right?
January.
Yeah, January 8th and 9th. Well,
Yeah,
you'll be
in-
there the 8th.
In Hyannis?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I think it's the same place Mask holds their.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like the Emerald
yeah.
Yeah.
or something.
Okay. You all set? Thank you very much. Okay. I don't see Mr. Gardner. Are you Mr. Gardner tonight? Okay. Welcome. Come on up.
The guy that's at a track meet, so this Gomes gonna pinch it for him.
Welcome.
So I'm Carolyn Gomes-Miera. I am a teacher at the Wareham High School, and I am sitting in for Mr. Gardner. And I'm going to read a prepared statement from him. So, good evening. Thank you for inviting us to your meeting, and I apologize for not being able to attend tonight. We had a very successful trip to Europe last June through EF Educational Tours. We had 22 excellent and well-behaved travelers covering 5 countries over 11 days, learning about each country's culture, with specific focus being on World War II. We had great weather combined with excellent tour guides visiting places like Churchill's War Rooms, Buckingham Palace in London, the beaches and cemeteries of Normandy, Notre Dame in Paris, the Palace of Versailles, the Berlin Wall, and Bastogne, Belgium, where we had a 91-year-old tour guide who witnessed the Battle of the Bulge as a child and could outwalk most people on tour and outtalk us all. He was amazing. We are here tonight to seek your approval for another trip through EF Tour, Educational Tours, this time to Spain in June 2027. The trip will cover 11 days, leaving the earliest June 19th, but we have requested the date of June 22nd to accommodate any potential snow days. We feel that the best time to travel is once school gets out for the summer, so we do not have to shorten our trips to not miss any school days if we travel during the winter or spring school vacation week. The trip will cover the cities of Malaga, Granada, Seville, Cordoba, Madrid, and Barcelona. The cost is very similar to our World War II trip to Europe and includes all travel expenses, hotels, tour guides, and 2 meals every day. Travelers could pay for the trip on a payment plan and have the opportunity to fundraise for their trip.
More details of the trip are in the packet, which are shared with you. We have a decent amount of interest in this trip, and we would like your permission to move forward with the booking of this for Wareham students. I don't know if there's anything you want me to click through on this, or.
And just.
No, we did see it.
To put in perspective, we have used EF Tours for over 20 trips throughout many years, and I've always been very impressed with their planning and making sure our students are in a safe place. I remember 15 years ago, there was an upheaval in Greece, and they were able to reposition our kids as far away from that as possible. And I'm watching on the news and calling, and they're like, yeah, we're 200 miles away. It's not an issue. I was like, all right, beautiful, and they just pivoted and rearranged the agenda. It's really an amazing company, and we've had a really great experience with them. And it's pretty much every other year we have a trip abroad for our students, and it's an amazing experience.
And I like that it's not involving the school year or showing vacation, so I think that's a plus for sure as well.
And they're hoping to get back before the 4th of July. I think this past trip, it ended after the 4th. So they're really hoping that they can hit their window of June 22nd to July 2nd. That's their preferred time frame.
We got back just before.
Just before? Okay.
Just before.
I knew it was tight.
How many students went on this most recent trip?
I think there was 11 students, and then the rest of us were adults because some people brought their parents with them. So we had a lot of adults and parents, but I think it was 11 or 12 students that were there.
Okay. And the cost of this trip, is it going to be more or less than the previous one?
I think it's about the same.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's about the same. It's in the packet if you.
Yeah, it's on
Oh, sorry.
third to last page.
Okay.
There's a lot of information in that packet.
Yeah, I did look at it.
You good?
I'm good, thank you.
Kevin?
Fine.
Good? Roger? It's a big number, the cost.
It is.
If I'm what used to be, a free and reduced lunch kid, I always ask this question.
I know a question you're going to ask every time we come up here for this.
Because it's really important to me.
Right, agreed.
I'm a free and reduced lunch equivalent kid, and I really want to go. And I live with my grandmother, and she's just trying to keep a roof over our head and food on the table. How does a kid like that afford $4,500?
I think that's why they're trying to get this approved now, because by getting it approved earlier, we get there's a $200 discount if we,
I saw that.
Obviously, we can't sign the contract until you approve it. They've already gauged the interest, and there seems to be a high interest level. But to answer your question, there's really some unique opportunities for fundraising. Through the company, they have opportunities to have, instead of, getting a gift from your grandparents, they can help for your birthday or for the holidays to put money towards your account. And there's a few kids that worked beyond school time. They worked in the summer to help pay for their trip last year. So there's all kinds of opportunities for fundraising, for work. We're very fortunate, and I know you're going to hear an awesome presentation from Dr. Chandler in a little bit. She hires our students. So there's opportunities. If there's a will, there's a way. And we also have people that are very generous that will help support our students if needed. I don't think there's ever been a kid that hasn't attended a trip because of the financial situation. We've always been able to find a way. And Wareham, as you know, is a very generous town. You look at our local scholarships. I wish you had a chance to come into our school today and see all the food, all the gifts, and everything going out today. It was amazing. There must have been, I don't know, somewhere in the vicinity of $5,000 worth of gift and food and clothing and everything going out of the school today. It was amazing.
So I read the brochure, and yes, if I was a kid, I'd love to go. So it sounds fabulous, including the fact that there are credits involved. I mean, it's just all good. The only other question I have is, there's a payment plan. And let's say you start that payment plan, and you're halfway through it, and all of a sudden, there's a crisis of some kind and you can't go. When I read that language, it sounded like you got a refund within 7 days of enrollment. Now, the definition of enrollment was not clear to me, so could you help me understand?
Yeah, it's prorated based on how much advance notice you give. So so if you know, a year ahead of time, there's you get almost all
Let's
of
say you're halfway through and you put up a couple of $1,000.
Yeah.
and you are forced to cancel, what happens to that 2,000 that you put into this trip?
Yeah, they get a large portion of that back.
Large
It's-
portion.
It's prorated based on, again, the more time they give, the more money they get back. But as they get close to the trip, they're signing contracts for
I
things like.
understand, I
So
understand.
there'll be less. But what we have done in the past, and I don't want to say we can absolutely do this time, but we had a situation like that, and we had a kid that was interested in taking that spot, and the kid was paid in full and had some kind of situation come up where they couldn't attend. So paid in full, couple months before the trip's ready to go, and we actually had the parents, we were able to do this through the company, the parents of the kid that wanted to go last minute was able to take that spot and pay the parents the money. So it worked out really well, and that again, that you may never have that.
Serendipity.
Yes, but there is, and you know, all the companies kind of use the same approach and when they can refund it. But as you get to the last couple months, the refund is much smaller than if you canceled, 9 months, a year ahead of time.
I will also say that the protection plan does have some protection in that, up to a certain amount of days. I can't remember when I took the trip and when I signed up, but it was a lot later in the process. If you have the protection plan, that they do allow you to bow out for certain reasons.
I get it, and I congratulate you on successful prior trips, and I feel comfortable thinking it's going to be another successful trip. We all good?
Mm-hmm.
I'll take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Any more discussion? Roger? No. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? 400.
Thank
Thank you. Good luck. So I am going to make our vice chair chairman of the board for the next agenda item only, and the reason is very simple. I have a conflict of interest with respect to this particular issue, and you'll be happy to know I will neither comment nor question during the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Sweat.
So, thank you very much,
Bethany's
Dr.
your lucky
Chandler.
day.
Chairman pro tem.
Yes.
Mr. Palladino, you will stop smirking.
Dr. Chandler, take it away.
Great. Thank you, school committee, for inviting me here tonight. You may remember a few years ago, we had childcare,
Absolutely.
both at both elementary schools and at the middle school. It was before childcare and after childcare. It was during vacations, summer programming, and it was very, very successful. It stopped in 2020, and it hasn't been back. And as the former school principal, I will tell you that many, many times I had gotten questions from parents. Please, can you open up the school before school again? Can you open this up? We need childcare. We need childcare. It would be so great to have childcare back at Wareham Elementary School. And that was just through feedback of conversation. So I spoke with Ms. Fondulis while she was still with Wareham Public Schools, and she said it was a great time. It was a very successful program, and she'd love to see it come back again. I started speaking to staff and just taking a poll to see if there'd be interest in working the program. And there is interest in working the program. And during the summer, I also provided a parent survey. So I would like to show you the results of the survey and what the feedback is to our community. Okay, sorry about that. So 172 families responded to the survey from the Wareham Elementary School. And I just simply asked, do you need before-school childcare? And as you can see, almost 67% said yes to this number. So in doing the calculations, that's 113 Wareham Elementary School families responding yes. Does your child currently attend childcare at another facility? As you can see, no is more favorable than the blue, which is 42%. Is that yes, 42% do, but in the red, it's 58% that they do not. If yes, would you consider transferring to childcare at Wareham Elementary School? And as you can see, close to 75% said yes. So based on that survey, it inclined me to have a meeting with the superintendent and Ms. Flynn and Ms. Fondulis and I just to brainstorm ideas around it and the proposal. Based on childcare in this area, I recognize, we want to be very affordable. So this would be only cost at this point, and we can talk about why in a moment. The fee would be $13 for 2 hours, just in the morning, 6:30 to 8:30, on school days. I have also broken down that for every half hour. So if a child comes in at 7 o'clock, it would be $10.50, and if a child comes in at 7:30, it would be $7 per day. Again, this would only be during school days. For staffing, I've done a ratio table. Remember, I was a math teacher, so I figured it would be wonderful to have 1 staff per every 12 children that attend. There would be 1 coordinator, 1 teacher. So in beyond school time, we do post for coordinators, as you know, in our care programs and in past programs. So I thought a coordinator teacher would be appropriate for this as well, along with a paraprofessional for each of the other 12, for every 12 that continue on. And 1 administrative assistant, and this would be to collect funds, to put out payments, to just really do the bookkeeping for those 5 hours a week. Sorry. Sorry, Jamie. Nope, I got it. Sorry. I'm so far away. So this is my timeline. I did, like I told you, I've already done a couple of think tanks on this proposal because I just wanted to make sure that if we do this and we have the posting, I wanted to make sure that there'd be staff willing to work it. And I did have 7 staff members from Wareham Elementary School attend the think tanks. I prepared this presentation. If it's approved, of course, there would be more work, including postings, preparing the advertisements, and getting out the application. As you can see, I've done some homework already, and I took the handbook that was the former handbook for before school time and after school time, and I have edited it along with the application for your review. And then tentatively, our first day of opening would be January 26th. I didn't put it in the presentation, but I am going just with fees because the voucher process is a little bit more complex, and I don't know enough about it just to begin it on January 26th. I would like to get training on it with the hired staff member that will be doing the bookkeeping, and then Kristen and I can take it from there. We did contact EEC, and they did say that we can open an early education program, fee-based, without their approval, but as soon as we go into the voucher program, they would come in and do inspections, which would be fine as well. And we do plan on doing the vouchers, it's just we're rolling this out slowly. Questions?
So in order to be cost neutral, how many students would you have to have participate? Or is this going to be cost neutral?
It would be definitely cost neutral. Yeah. So if you think, if you do the math, if you think just of a paraprofessional pay and a staff member's pay, and then if you have 12 paid students, that would cover those costs right there.
Okay. Joyce?
Would all ages be together, or would you?
I would do like, we're going to separate from cafeteria to upstairs in the Innovation Hub. So we're going to try to divvy up the grades.
Okay. I was going to say, somebody get her.
Sorry, I have a
No,
frog
Jim
in my
is getting
throat.
one.
Are we voting on this today?
So, we had this conversation, actually, Dr. Chan and I had this conversation. I don't think it's something that you need to vote on. Certainly, it would be welcome just as a vote of approval.
It's just that we normally don't vote on the first hearing of a topic, but you sound like there's a time crunch here, too.
I mean, this is just, I created that, Kevin, so that's just my own time crunch. That is not, that is up for.
Right, I mean, if you wanted more time to, for whatever reason.
Well, just saying that it was following our practice, but we can also
Well, I think
amend
that's
that.
more about policy, right?
I guess.
Yeah, I'd be happy to vote on it, and
Okay. Any questions, Roger, regarding this
no,
program? I mean, I think it's a great idea to have something in the school. It seems more convenient to parents. It seems more affordable for parents, and it would hopefully promote better attendance at school in theory as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you know all that.
I was actually surprised to see that there were so many families who wanted before-school care that don't have it already.
I
And
know.
there's no transportation,
No transportation. It would be drop
just
off.
to be clear, yeah.
It would be drop off. And I didn't do after-school care because I didn't want to go into a conflict of the care program being a grant program and then doing fee-based. So I'm just beginning with before-school time.
Mhm.
You want to ask any questions, even though, okay? So do I have a motion to approve this before-school program?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
So 3-0-1. One abstention.
And then I will maybe come back to school committee in March or April and give you an update.
I was just going to say that.
That'd be
All right.
great.
Please
Thank
do.
you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for creating this, Bethany.
And
Thank
so
you.
I
You're
end the
welcome. Thank you.
shortest chairmanship in history and turn it back over to Mr. Sweat.
Thank you, Kevin. Mr. Russo.
I understand you were going to abstain from asking me any questions.
It's not your lucky day.
And here I thought you might be disappointed if I didn't ask you questions, since I always applaud your presentation.
Thank you, thank you. In that case, I welcome your questions. Oh, wow, okay, all right. All right, so I am Mike Russo, the Food Services Director, and I'll be providing you with our department status update for the year. As you can see, and you've previously been provided this profit and loss statement. This statement is, I have to provide to DESI every quarter a financial statement status report. And basically, this is the template I use from DESI. And it's in black and white. Mine is, my presentation to you is a little more colorful. But basically, this is the same information that I provide to DESI every quarter. So the things that I would like to point out are, if you look to the far left on the top half under revenue, circled in green, you'll see that from the previous school year, we rolled over that amount, 499 and change, to start the year. And going over to the far right, bottom right of the chart, you'll see that circled in red, and I guess I should have circled it in blue or something, because red makes it look like it was a negative, but it's actually a positive. We netted a surplus of $37,000 for the year, so that brought our ending balance for last school year to $537,000. If there are any questions before I move on to the next slide? No? Okay.
I'm chair again, so I get to ask.
Yes, sir.
So that 37,000, is it fair to say you just did what you thought was in the best interest of the parents and the kids and took advantage of whatever revenue was available to you from a variety of sources. And you ended up with a surplus of $37,000. Is that a fair statement?
In general, yes.
I'm
but it
not
was
trying to put words in your mouth, so.
Okay.
So
Well-
edit my words as you see fit.
Well, I would say that we ended up, I guess in general, yes, that is in general correct.
You're equivocating, so I need to explore. Why isn't it a simple yes or no question?
Oh, well, because there's more detail, it's more complicated than that, but in general.
Give me an example of why it's more complicated.
There were there were other sources of revenue that we did not pursue, such as a grant, for example, from DESI for equipment. So that could have been a bigger number.
Why didn't you pursue it?
Bureaucracy, and we didn't need it. And
You're
without,
telling me DESI is a bureaucracy? I'm shocked.
and in all honesty, we finished the year maxed out with the maximum amount that we could roll over from one year to the next year. So if we had gotten the grant, it could have pushed us to where we would have had to provide a plan to DESI on how we were going to spend down. So we're.
Couldn't just give it to the superintendent?
No, unfortunately, no, sir. Has to stay, as you know, it has to stay
I'm kidding.
within.
I was kidding.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So it's fair to say that if a, I'll use a carefully chosen word, altruistic private company took over this, God forbid, they would have made a profit instead of a surplus of about $37,000.
Yes, if they did everything exactly, if they had the same.
I said altruistic.
Yes, yes, they would have to have the same labor force and everything
Yep.
that we do.
Yeah, interesting. I love the presentation. I do have a question, but I could save it till you show the next spreadsheet. But the equipment purchases, both on this spreadsheet and the next spreadsheet, are pretty small.
Yes, sir.
But you feel comfortable that all your equipment is in good shape, not fully depreciated, if you will, and you just didn't need to make any more purchases.
Correct. What's not broken out here is how much we spend maintaining equipment. So we spend tens of thousands of dollars a year on maintenance of equipment.
Good.
And so it is well maintained, and so we're not having to replace it.
Pay me now, pay me later.
Exactly, yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, so all of our, there is no piece of equipment out there that is currently we're looking to replace. Everything is functioning well.
Who maintains it? Is it a third party or is it internally?
Both, sir. We do take advantage occasionally of our HVAC and plumbing employees that work for the district.
Excellent.
But mostly it's third party. We have a company that we have a contract that we use for all of our refrigeration equipment, which is one of our biggest expenses. And so that's a big one. And then there's a second company that we use. So I guess I would say we primarily have two companies that between the two of them, they cover all of our equipment in the kitchens.
Where are those expenses for maintenance? Which line?
Contracted services.
Thank you. Okay, got it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All set for now.
Okay. On the next side, you'll see, or the next slide, you will see that 537 that we ended last year with, that we started in July. We have ups and downs, as you saw on the previous slide, month to month. Some months we lose money, some months we make money. There is a rhythm to it, but it's not always the same months that we make or lose money. But in any case, at this point, We are, as of December 1st, we had a net surplus of 52,000 over the course of the previous 5 months. And at that time, we had a balance of 589,000 and change. I would say that that includes money that is the checks in the mail, so to speak, reimbursements and such that we're claiming from DESI and such.
So you're accruing it.
Yes, sir.
Questions?
Thank you for this report. I always tell you this is like one of my favorite nights.
See, I'm
of
not the only one.
No, it's great. It's such a good report. So you said this 52,300 is your year-to-date number.
Yes, ma'am.
But if you go to last year, the year-to-date at the end of November would have been much smaller, might even have been a negative at this point.
Let's
There was an equipment purchase last year, a higher
Yes.
equipment purchase. But, so I guess my question is just, do you expect the year to end in a similar way? Or?
Yes, like I said, it varies month to month. But we, and there are factors that cause that, for example, why we are deeper or didn't make as much money on one year in November as we did on the other year. One of those is just expenses when they get paid and such.
Okay.
Which is, just has to do with the schedule and the warrant process and so forth.
Okay.
So, but I would say yes, I do project that we will finish the year in pretty much, my goal is always to break even, not to, because of the big safety margin that we have. My goal is to spend as much money as we take in. And so we, whether it's buying new equipment, I'll give you an example. We had identified an opportunity in the elementary school where we had a refrigerator that was just a one-door refrigerator. And we had enough room to replace it with a two-door refrigerator. And when I say refrigerator, I mean commercial refrigerators. So there was enough room to replace that one-door refrigerator with a two-door refrigerator. And so we went ahead and paid $6,000 to buy top-of-the-line two-door commercial refrigerator made in America and put that in the place of the one-door, and then moved the one-door to one of the other schools. And what I'm trying to get at is, so I try to gauge things and try to spend wisely and not spend too much, but make sure that we're taking advantage of any opportunities while also doing our maintenance. And I do project that we will finish the year. It's always hard to say, but I would project that we're going to finish the year about break even, zero.
Okay. And I just want to say thank you for all of the behind-the-scenes things that you do. Like, I know when benefits for children were in question, you were getting ready to mobilize.
Thank
And
you. Yes.
yeah, so we appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions on this sheet? So your very first line, federal sources.
Yes.
Have you had any threats or reductions, threats of reductions or reductions in actual federal as compared to state sources of revenue?
No.
Really? Status quo?
Status quo.
Wow. That's great to hear. I hope it continues.
Yes. Yeah. I pay close attention to the news, and back last school year, there were discussions in the House of Representatives in D.C. There was a bill that was looked at that went nowhere that would have cut funding dramatically, federal funding for school meals, and basically only provided it for schools that were at the 60% free lunch threshold or above. That fizzled out, nothing happened to it, but even if it did, we are at 62% of our student population qualifies for free lunch. So we were above the threshold of even what was threatened in Congress back in the spring.
How do we, maybe I should ask the superintendent or Kristen this question, how do we know the number is 62% since free and reduced lunch is no longer applicable?
That's me. So I'm, or go ahead.
No,
sir.
no, please.
I am responsible several times a year for uploading to a Massachusetts website a roster of all of our students that includes all their state ID number and such. And the state then has a computer system where they, in a matter of minutes, 15 minutes, it spits out a feedback and basically tells me student by student who qualifies for free lunch, who qualifies for reduced price lunch, who doesn't qualify for anything. And then it goes into much more detail, who's related to who on the list and who's living in the same household. So it gives tons of data. But the main piece that I use in my dealings with DESI is the free and reduced, or the free lunch.
So from that data, those data, you calculate the 62% or do they actually calculate it for you?
I calculate it, but then I upload it later on in the year in November. I have to actually fill out a sheet for them, and then they validate it and make sure that it matches what they have.
That's all good news. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Elementary, so the next three slides are just going to be our breakfast participation, breakfast and lunch participation rates at each of the schools. I'll say that the slides there's nothing dramatic in any of them. It's pretty much maintaining course. You'll see some slight variation, and I'll just go through them real quick. So in gray, you see last year, the first 3 months of last year, and then in color, you see the first 3 months of this year. So at the elementary school last year, we started off a little stronger, as you can see in gray, than we did this year. But this year, we've had month after month increase in participation rates, and we're slightly ahead in November. I think we were at 73% as opposed to 71 or 72% back last year at the same time of our students are taking advantage of getting a free breakfast. And if we move over to the lunch, same thing. We started off a little stronger last year, but we've basically had a month-over-month increase this year, and currently we're a little bit ahead on our participation rates for lunch than we were last year. And again, these are all within a couple percent of each other, so it's nothing dramatic. Going to the middle school, last year we had both at the middle school and let me go back to the high school. At the middle school and the high school, we had for whatever reason, a poor start to the month, and we talked about it last year, and I couldn't figure out why, but we just started off week at the beginning of the school year for breakfast in the middle school and the high school, but then we leveled up. This year we had a good, strong start, and we are we're well above in where we were last year. We're in the mid-70s % participation rate on breakfast. And on lunch, same thing. We started off a little stronger than we did last year and have that month-over-month slight increase in participation. Already addressed, like I said, last year, a week out of the gate, but we're slightly better at the high school this year. Anything over 50% is, for high school breakfast participation, is wonderful, absolutely wonderful, and for a high school. And so we're very happy that we're there at the high school. And as you can see, we had a month-over-month increase each month. Going over to the lunches, we started off strong in September, and I think it was 72% in September, and then October and November, we were right in the 73% of our students took a free lunch, and it's just staying steady there. Any questions on participation?
You have a consumer here. Any thoughts, comments, or questions from Mr. Russo?
No,
Are you a consumer?
I get lunch.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. Has what you offer been impacted either by the consumer or by the FDA?
So, FDA or USDA?
Sorry, USDA.
USDA. So, yes to both. I would say, but that's all, the consumer, the students, they provide feedback on a daily basis.
Daily?
To our, well, by what they take and they
Yes,
don't
exactly,
take.
sure.
And then what they say that they like and that they don't like right there on the spot. And our managers take that feedback and they talk to me about it. I give them a great deal of, I'd like to say that I have 3 fantastic managers who are very attuned to each of their schools and to their customers. And so they let me know, hey, like at the high school, this lunch, they loved it so much, I'd like to do it twice or 3 times next year. I don't want them, or next month. I don't want them to get burned out on it, but I want to offer it more frequently. And we do that. And vice versa with things that the students aren't that engaged on. And occasionally there might be some input from students. For example, at the middle school, last year there was a request that we serve some hot breakfasts. We do breakfast in the classroom, but would it be possible to serve something hot at least one day a week? And so we did start doing that, and that's what we do. So we do get feedback from our customers, and we do implement it. With regards to the USDA, they have implemented a program where they're reducing sodium and sugar levels in the foods that we serve, and that is basically not really causing much consternation or much for us to do, because our suppliers are used to having to comply with USDA standards in order to supply us with foods. So they're already offering us reduced sugar this, reduced salt that, which we are taking advantage of. And this school year, we have a slightly lower level, and then like next school year, it has even lower levels of sodium and sugar. So it's a step-by-step process that the USDA is trying to reduce the amount of sugar and salt in the foods that we serve. And this was implemented a few years ago, and now it's finally, it was put into the regulations, and now we're in the years where it's actually taking effect. So the USDA is impacting what we are serving as well.
Very interesting.
Sir?
And it doesn't look like it's having any impact on participation rates.
No.
That's great.
And we try to avoid, there are a lot of sugary things out there, and we do try to avoid the sugary things when possible. And my managers will tell you that I'm Mr. Whole Grain. I'm always asking, is this whole grain, is that whole grain? The USDA requires us to provide a certain amount of whole grain, but we went to 100% whole grain years ago, and that's all we do is 100% whole grain. So we only serve brown rice. We don't do white rice. Yes, sir. We only the biscuits, the breads, everything that we serve is either whole wheat or whole grain. And so in any case, we're already there, and the students are used to it. So as standards go up, we're already exceeding the standards on some of this stuff.
I applaud you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Some of the things that we spent money on. I just wanted to point out 2 things that you might see over in the cafeterias. On the left, that's the Wareham High School cafeteria, where in coordination with Mr. Palladino, he helped find the company that we ended up using. We got the columns in the cafeteria wrapped. They used to be blue paint, and it would get chipped and had stains and such on it, and it would get repainted, but it would not look that great again. very shortly thereafter. So we tried to find a durable wrap, and this is the same material that they use to wrap vehicles. And so we put 6 wraps on the columns in the cafeteria and got positive feedback from students and staff and everybody. So seems to have made for a more welcoming, more food positive environment for our students to eat. And then flipping over to,
Are those vegetables I'm looking at on the column?
we're looking at vegetables,
Those are
yes. sir.
potatoes?
Yes, those are
Okay.
potatoes, and then a tomato, and then corn, a pyre, and then there are other columns, or there were a total of 6 columns. I just picked a picture that showed at least 4 of them, but we have some fruit and such and others. Yes, that it's just what we could find, or what we came to, what we end up doing with the artist and the company that did the wraps. Moving over to the other picture on the right, that is the Wareham Middle School cafeteria, and it's just tables. Basically, we replaced 4, that row of 3 tables and 1 other table. They had some tables that were not broken, but they were patched and repaired numerous times, and everything short of duct tape and such holding them together. So they were still usable and could have been used for several more years. But this summer we identified 4 that needed to be replaced, or were candidates to be replaced, and we got rid of them and put in 4 new tables. In previous years, you've had me here, and I've told you about replacing tables at the high school and at the elementary school. We hadn't done anything over at the middle school. Now it was time for us to go ahead and update what they had over there. So those are just a couple of things that we're just trying to do to make sure that not only safety, but also more inviting and more pleasant for the students to eat in the atmosphere of the cafeteria. Any questions on any of that? Thank you, sir. And lastly, I'd just like to say thank you to all of you, to the superintendent, the principals, the staff, and of all the schools. And I'd like to recognize our food service staff. It's definitely a team effort, and we get a lot of support. We're supporting the principals, we're supporting the schools. Our job is we are providing a service, a support to the schools, but the schools are helping us out incredibly, and we appreciate it. And if you have any questions, I am ready to answer, or...
We good?
I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Appreciate your thoroughness.
Thank you.
Roger, you good?
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
You never disappoint, Mike. Thank you.
No.
I'm thinking maybe we'll skip over to you so Mr. Palladino, who is a part of your report, can get out of here at a reasonable hour.
I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
I think that's a great
Come on
idea.
up.
So, do you want to, Mr. Chairman?
Do whatever involves Mr. Palladino.
Okay.
It's all these perks for being principal of the year, I guess.
That's right.
Get
So-
you out of here, I'll take it.
That would go down to agenda item number 10.
Yes.
And
Oh,
April,
right, okay.
and April is not here, but,
I'm saying we table policy review unless Jamie says that's a problem.
okay. That's
Good.
taken care of.
We can do it.
Thank you very much.
It's not a problem, correct? No, we need to do them. Oh, we need to do them. Oh, the
okay.
CTE. Yeah.
Oh, well, CTE we have to do, but do we have to do the,
have to do, there's another one, graduation requirement is coupled with that on that day.
All right, let's
Okay.
try and expedite, but we can do that after Mr. Palladino's involved.
well, so most of the policy review committee's policies that they reviewed are high school policies. So it's really timely that Mr. Palladino is here.
Okay.
There was not many changes to those policies.
Exactly.
I can go through quickly. The online instruction, the only change was changing from assistant superintendent down the bottom there to director of teaching, learning, and technology, because that title has changed. Other than that, the policy is the same, and I just want to say that these policies went out to the policy subcommittee meeting prior to the meeting. We all read through them. They were sent to the principal of the high school. We asked him to read through them, recommend any changes. He attended the meeting, and so we did discuss, and these are the changes that we made, and that was for the online instruction, courses for students. Want me to just go through all of them? Okay. Graduation and requirements, we did remove IB, so it's just AP and dual enrollment. Listed for the grade point conversion chart. Under graduation requirements that meet the Mass Core requirements, we added that it can, credits count as part of the 25 credits of additional courses noted above and can count towards the 5 credits towards the business requirement. That is the personal finance class, which, by the way, is going to, as the state is changing their requirements or looking how to change what high school requirements look like after the vote for MCAS, is going to be a required course for all high schools. And so that was the only changes on that policy. The attendance, 8 through 12, I don't think we made any changes. Okay, we removed MCAS at the end there. And why did we do that, Scott? I can't remember that.
Was it because they were no longer required to graduate, maybe?
Yeah, it's in parentheses, and we do say that the state comprehensive exams, but they didn't want to name MCAS any longer.
That's the way I interpreted it.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
And then finally, the student attendance, there were no changes.
I have one question about student attendance, if I could
Sure.
ask that. So at the top of the policy, it says, for the purpose of this policy and meeting the guidelines by the state, there is no differentiation between excused and unexcused absences. And then later in the policy, it says, we send out letters after 5 unexcused absences. So there is a distinction then, is there not?
Well, I think the language is in regards to the state doesn't have a distinction. They look at, you're either in school or you're not in school.
Right.
That's how they base their attendance rates.
But our letters aren't based on that. Our letters are only based on excused and unexcused.
Right.
And then it doesn't say, well, maybe in your handbook it says what
It's the
excused and
handbook
unexcused
language
is.
that talks about the excused versus unexcused.
Okay, I get that this state says that, but why wouldn't we give out letters just even for unexcused, just?
To try and hold kids accountable for
Yeah.
being in school?
I mean, for excused and unexcused.
Oh, why do we not? Because for the excused, we know why they were out. We're looking to figure out why kids are out, and so if a parent sends in an excuse note, we're not going to send a letter saying your kid's been out for this. They already know that. They've given us the letter, so we don't really bother with the letters for 5% or 5 days.
Okay, I'll just bring up the question.
Back on the graduation requirement, I don't understand why it says that the AP and honors programs, why is that in there?
I believe it has to do with the weighting, the policy, the weighting in the classes, I believe.
I mean, are you saying that every student to graduate has to participate in the AP courses?
No, not at all. It's not a requirement. It's an option.
Right. So why is it under the graduation requirement?
That it has so when they're determining grade point average, you get more, the more challenging honors and AP classes are weighted higher.
Okay.
That's just to simply make sure
So
that the
it's just for
students are
that
aware of
reason,
that.
for the
Exactly.
weighting.
That's
Okay.
right.
All right, thank you.
So, everybody good? Yes, okay. Under the attendance policy, absences due to field trips, school functions, college visitations, and sports dismissals. But nowhere in the paragraph and the numbers under that does it even reference sports dismissals. So I wonder why it's headed with sports dismissals as part of the heading, but it never references it. And number 2, it also says that all missed classes must be approved, and I assume by missed, it also means leaving early, must be approved by the teacher 1 day prior to missing, which is certainly not true for sports dismissals. So my general question is, why are sports dismissals part of the heading but never referenced?
I'll have to see the policy. Yeah. It's been a few months since we reviewed it.
I know.
Attendance or attendance grade 8 through 12? Which one was it?
It's 8 through 12.
Okay, I have it open to that.
It's a fair ways down. It's after.
After truancy.
After truancy. Just so everybody knows, the standard operating procedure to get on the bus early for a sporting event that is a long way away is to present a note signed by the teacher that allows them to be dismissed early from class. And sometimes that might be fairly significantly early, maybe a half hour as much missing school. But the larger issue than a day early is no references to it.
I mean, you could, in theory, in number one, say students will be responsible for keeping up with any work missed while either on a sports dismissal or on a school-related trip, and be done with it.
You could. I mean, it would have to be added because school-related trip is not a sports activity.
Right, no, right, it would
Yes.
have to be added
It's just
in that
a simple way of
sentence.
addressing it.
Right.
Well, is a school, when are students dismissed for sports? When they travel?
Most
Away-
of the time.
Away games, that would be
Away
pretty far
games.
away.
So
It would be far away.
it is
Technically,
student
it's-
travel. You're traveling to another school. I mean, I'm reading at, these are the reasons why. If you're going on a field trip, a school function, college visit, sports dismissal, this all still applies to you. You can't say, well, I had an away game down the Cape and I don't have to do the work. No, even if these apply to you. So,
You're saying we can reference sports-related and not have anything related to it in the body of.
I think because it's listed in the heading, it applies to everything that's listed in this heading.
And the policy has been in place for a long time, and it's worked really well at the high school, so it was not something I was looking to
That's the way I
change.
read it.
You could argue that being on a bus is a school-related trip if you're going to an athletic event, too.
Right.
It is a trip. It's
Right.
different.
I'm
I
not
know
tr-
it's different.
I'm
It's
not-
worked
I know
well
what you mean. I know
for
what you mean.
I
many
don't care
years
that
prior
much.
to me being principal, so we have a pretty good system, and we give way more than 1 day's notice. We give a week's notice for trips, and our athletic director sends out all the trips about a month ahead.
This is not high on my list of things that I
Yeah.
need to change.
So that was where I was at. It's worked well. I don't,
If everybody else is comfortable, I'll withdraw my concern. Okay. Now, so how many policies would you like the committee that you mentioned? Just tick off the policies that you want approved as amended.
They were all as amended except for the last one. the
Right, but
first-
what's the names of them?
Okay, so we want online instruction, graduation requirement, and attendance grades 8 through 12 as amended.
Okay, I'll take a motion to that effect.
So moved.
Second.
Second by Roger.
Roger, yep.
Any further questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 400. Okay.
Thank you. The second is
One
the.
second, Jamie has a question.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
We have one more. Now we have to vote for student attendance as is no change, and then we're all set.
Oh, I thought, okay.
We have 3 amended, but 1 no
Okay.
change. So one more. Student attendance.
Okay, I'll take a motion for student attendance approval.
So moved.
Okay, this is with no changes.
Second.
Second, no questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 400. Thank you, Jamie. Okay,
Okay, thank you. The second is the CTE policy. This is the policy that we discussed at, not the last meeting, but the one
Yeah.
prior. And there was a talk about adding a date in there that prior to December 1st, students would be able to visit Upper Cape Tech, 8th grade students. I don't know if the copy you received had that in it. I did add it, and I made copies if you want to see it. But it really went into, on the second page underneath where it says CTE tour policies, I wrote, by December 1st of each school year, Wareham Public Schools will provide all 8th grade students with the opportunity to tour Upper Cape Tech. So I just added that first part to that sentence, that it would be by December 1st.
Okay, but I don't remember, I'm looking for it now, but you're not sure it's the copy that's on the website?
If it's the one that I shared with you, then it should reflect that, but I also have hard
It's
copies
on
here.
page 2 under CTE.
It's not there, according to Jamie. Okay. Okay.
No, that's my
Once
fault. I
it's
think,
approved.
First mistake of the year, so it's okay.
so in this hard copy that you're receiving, it would be on the second page underneath CTE tour policies, that first sentence that was added.
I'm sorry, say that reference again. December 1st, got it.
Yep,
Okay. That's the only change?
that's the only change.
Okay. So, all right, I have a question, a broad question, but go ahead.
I
Joyce.
just wanted to ask Scott, so you're okay with that? You don't see a
I
problem
am.
with us
I
adding that
think
date
it's,
in there?
December gets kind of crazy. You know, if this, you know, if we could fast forward a year from now, we just did the tour on Wednesday of this week, and I think if we have to do it, November's a great month to do it in. So whether that language was in there or not, as far as I'm concerned, if I'm principal, it's happening in November. So, but I think it's good to have it in there just as a reference.
All right. But I just want to make a comment, it's not a question, that I believe that these changes at the state level they started out to be about more equal access to technical schools for all students. And this says that their attendance their acceptance will be weighted by their attendance, their discipline, and an interview. So I don't really see what's different.
The only
But
difference is
that's-
we're giving a tour now.
Yeah, that's just my opinion. I don't see that they accomplished what they said they set out to accomplish, which is really unfortunate, because there's still gonna be kids who should be there who are not gonna get in. That's all I have to say.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
Any-
it's really unfortunate.
You all set?
Yes, I'm done.
And I agree with you. Kevin, you good?
I'm good.
Good.
Roger? So I completely share my colleagues' thoughts, and apparently you share them as well.
Absolutely.
Now, we do have this theoretical lottery, okay? What is the practical effect of this lottery, since it's really a lottery, you know, with quotations around it, because there are caveats associated with it? So can you advise the committee as to, by the way, it's almost the definition of ambivalence, how I feel about Upper Cape. I love what they do, I just don't like the process that people go through to get into it. So what is the practical effect of all the changes that we're experiencing?
For right now, there really is no effect because they have trouble filling all the slots.
They do.
They do. But that's also because, you know, our teenage population in the town of Wareham is down. But it could have a practical effect down the road if the population increases. I anticipate, you know, we've got a beautiful elementary school. Their numbers are through the roof. That's going to matriculate up to the middle school and the high school. So it could have more of an impact in the future. And to Ms. Bakyaki's concern, and then it's going to become selective, and the kids that really should learn a trade eventually are not going to be able to get into the school. So that's...
Or are they going to become selective again?
Right. And right now, it's been great. You know, they have pretty much accepted every kid that's applied, which has been great. The kids that want to get in, that want to learn a trade, can get in. When, you know, 10 years ago, it was a different story. So I'm liking where it's at now because the right kids are getting in.
They are.
And they're not really denying anyone.
Okay.
So it's been good, and we've got great relationships with the administration there. You know, we talk online quite a bit, and it's been great. Hopefully, we can keep that going.
Yes, hopefully. It'll be good for everybody if we can.
Absolutely.
Okay, we need a vote on this, I believe. To adopt the CTE policy. Any further discussion? I'll take a motion to do so.
Make a motion to approve the CTE, to adopt the CTE policy.
Yes, second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 400, with fingers crossed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
And now, the competency determination policy that I shared with all of you, I believe, last week. Just to give you a little bit of background, when MCAS was eliminated as a competency determination in 2024, then after that vote, the Department of Ed required districts to determine the coursework that would determine competency determination for students. And we had a conversation at a school committee meeting, and you voted that English 10, algebra, geometry for math, and biology, chemistry, and physics for science were going to be, one of those would be the requirements that students need to pass to show competency. And you voted that was good for last year and for this year. The state decided in the interim that they are now requiring that we make a policy, that each district make a competency determination policy, and that they would, are requiring us to add U.S. history to the competency determination. They would also like part of that policy, any additional courses that align with CD. They wanted to add considerations for what happens for students with disabilities, students that are English language learners, and students who enroll late to the school. They also wanted the policy to outline the appeal process. So you can see that I shared a draft with you. What MASC did was MASC developed sort of a template for districts to work off of. Scott and I kicked around the template that MASC had developed to make it our own. We applied all of the courses that were decided by the school committee last year, and then, of course, made sure that all the requirements that the Department of Ed wants in the new policy are there. And they would like, the Department of Ed would like us to share this with them by December 31st. So I am, and I apologize, I'm asking that you would consider to vote this policy tonight. So that's a general overview. And I know there's some questions out there, so we're happy to answer them. I just want to do say that based on the vote last year, I think we're all set right now for last year and this year. U.S. history, this policy would add U.S. history for the class of 2027. And then for the class of 2029, it would add that students need to have a final grade of 70 or above for each of these classes in order for it to count towards competency determination.
So before I would like Mr. Palladino to give further context for this. I also want to thank Mr. Palladino for giving the chair a couple of times we've met to talk about this because it's important. I hope we always add value, but I think that what we're doing on this particular policy is particularly relevant and important, and that our decision be thoughtful and add value. So I'll turn it over to our principal, and then we'll have hopefully some thoughtful discussion. But if we are, because I hate to force a decision when people aren't ready to make one. If for some reason we have to delay this until the next meeting, are there consequences for doing that?
I don't know, I might get a nasty email.
You've had those before, right?
I get them every day.
You get them every day, so, no.
So
no.
I would send them the draft. I would put it as a draft and said, this has been presented to the school committee. They would like to discuss it further. And they're meeting on such and such a date, and I will send you the final one as soon as that is approved. And
So if we can do it tonight, fine. If we can't, we can delay it till the next meeting, because I don't want anybody to feel pressure to do something that's so important. Okay? So, Mr. Palladino.
Well, thank you. So I think the biggest change from our current competency determination that's been approved for last year and this year would certainly take effect with the current freshmen. That would be the class of 2029. And I'm excited for the fact that we have the opportunity to give them a full year's notice about this mastery piece that they need to have in 10th grade. We'll start off right off the bat, day one, letting them know that this is required. And we ran some numbers, and if this was in place for last year's sophomores with no advance notice, we would have roughly 30 students out of the whole class, between 65 and 69 in the class, in one of those 4 core classes. I would argue that there's an opportunity here for those kids, if they knew 70 was the threshold for mastery, there's a large percentage that would forge forward and attain that 70. I think the fact that 65 was passing, they were fine with getting somewhere between a 65 and 69 and attaining credit for the class.
Just to be clear, that's 65 to 30-some, they're all sophomores.
Correct. They
So
were
they have an
sophomores last year. Okay, they were sophomores last year, so they're now juniors. So I dug a little bit deeper and went back to the current seniors when they were sophomores, and ironically, that same number was 30 students. And although there are 30 students, there were actually less failures with that group, as in the year prior to that, after that, excuse me, there were a few kids that failed multiple classes, didn't fail, scored between 65 and 69 in multiple classes. And then I decided to go 1 year prior to that, so the graduating class of 2025, there would have been 23 students impacted by this. So I believe that with enough advance notice and with students and staff knowing that this is an expectation for mastery, we will be in a position where we will get the majority of students through that threshold. My concern in full disclosure is history, because it's not supported by special ed, and that has our largest number of students that have between a 65 and 69. So for instance, in 2024, the sophomores there were 16 students that scored between a 65 and 69. In 2023-24, there were 12 students in U.S. history that scored between that 65 and 69. And in 2022-23, which had a small number of students taking U.S. history at the CP level, these students, their total number was 7. We have precluded any honors level classes, any advanced placement level classes from this study, because the assumption is if they're in there, they're scoring well above a 65 to 69. So this is just college prep data that we have dug into. And so I'm confident that in ELA math and science, we're going to be in a really good position. I'm nervous about the history because, again, it's unsupported, and a large number of those students that are listed there as failures are special ed students.
Anything else you'd like to share? And by the way, I thank you for the data.
Yes, I would like to share with you, as Dr. DeAndrea said, that the U.S. history would come into play. And currently, it is not in play, and that would come into play with 2027.
Class of 2027,
So
and that's in the regulations.
We don't have control of that. Yeah. And that's all I have for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
I guess I have a lot of questions. So I'll start with, when I saw that it said show mastery by getting a final grade of 70. I mean, you're saying that that's higher than what is a passing grade now?
Correct,
in Wareham.
5 points higher.
But the word mastery and the number 70 doesn't, am I the only one that thought that,
Minor contradiction.
yeah,
But I would just argue that even on the MCAS, like you had proficient or you had needs improvement.
Right.
And if you got needs improvement, you still passed.
you still passed.
And
Okay,
needs
good
improvement
point.
would
That's a good
be
point, yeah.
And
right
I've
around
been
that
through about
range.
a dozen other high schools that shared their CDs. No one has a GPA requirement that I've seen. And I've seen quite a few of them over the last few days.
So on this policy, Wareham inserted this final grade of 70?
Yes, yeah,
Correct.
we added that.
Okay.
Everyone else kind of has what's underneath that.
Which really only says that they have to take the class.
Correct. Take and pass.
Pass it.
Pass.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Another question I have is, for the years 27 and 28, so we don't have a plan in place.
This is the plan. The only difference is that the class of 2029 would have that, and every class thereafter would have that GPA requirement for mastery.
Oh, but this would go into effect for the class of 27, just the requirement of the grade would be 29.
Correct. And that just gives us time to meet with the students who would be taking that test this year. You know, we contemplated, do we start with a class of 2028? And I felt it would be unfair if after New Year's, assuming this is approved tonight, I'm meeting with the class and saying, oh, by the way, you're halfway through the school year, but you have to have a 70 GPA. I feel much more confident in having that conversation in late August than I do having it in January.
Okay.
And just explain.
One second.
I'm sorry.
Are you all set?
Go ahead.
No, but go ahead. All right, just one more question. Sure. So under special ed, it says that students with disabilities must also determine that the student has met the competency determination. Am I incorrect in saying that there are accommodations and maybe different requirements for some of those students now?
There would be accommodations, absolutely, for, English, math, and science. And there's also, as you see as well, there's also an appeals process as well.
Right.
So if for some reason, a kid didn't make the threshold, let's just say it was maybe GPA down the road, there is an appeals process, an appeals committee that would be in place
Okay.
to hear those appeals.
Okay. All right. Those are all my questions for now. Thank you.
And so what would happen if a student passes but does not meet the competency determination? What does that mean, practically speaking, for that student?
So for that student, there'd be two options. One would be they could come in during the summer and do the fifth quarter, which would bring up their grade above a 70, as long as they're doing what they need to do. The other option, which I don't love, would be to repeat the course the next year.
So if they don't receive this competency determination, they don't get a diploma?
Correct.
But they've got 2 years.
Right, remember, these are sophomores.
Right. Okay.
So they're,
Okay.
yeah, and keep in mind also, the state is working on an end of course of exam. This may only be in place until 2020, the fall of 2027. We may have a whole new state end of course exam policy that's in place.
Okay. Thank you.
Roger?
I'm good.
So I have a few questions, comments, but as you know, you were kind enough to share your thoughts and rationale, so that has helped tremendously to shorten my questions. By the way, do you have a theory about why U.S. history is so much more difficult? I would have thought it would be math, not
Well,
U.S.
It's
history.
not supported with special ed. We do not have
Oh,
small.
that's right, you
small
told
group.
me
We don't
that.
have inclusion classes, so.
Did share that, sorry. So I've discussed this with Mr. Palladino, but I guess I have three concerns. One is, I don't consider 70, someone who gets a 70 in ELA perhaps especially, prepared for employment. I just don't think it suggests a level of competency that would make them a good employee, which is, forget whether they go on to college or trade school or wherever, they've got to have a certain ability to read, comprehend, articulate, write, etc. So I share your concerns, Joyce, that 70 just doesn't cut it. On the other hand, so I was suggesting in my initial conversations with Mr. Palladino that maybe we should at least make it 73 because 70 is actually a C minus. But I'm willing to defer for the moment because I'd like this to come up annually, that this is the right number, especially given the initial data we have. Mr. Palladino feels comfortable that once they know this is a requirement, they will work that much harder because they don't want to go to summer school or, God forbid, have to repeat a whole course the next year. My second concern is grade inflation, which is to say, as soon as you say to a student, you're also saying to a teacher who I'm sure cares deeply about these students, that they may start to cut them some slack. And that concerns me greatly because employers are not going to cut them slack as a teacher might do it because of the teacher is more empathetic. So I don't know how you stop grade inflation, but I think we need to be very much aware that as soon as we insert any number, we run the risk of grade inflation. But I'll leave it to your expertise to try and deal with that. And then the third concern I have is the appeals process. And the way I read it, even though I respect the fact that it's got an administrator and 2 teachers and a department chair, if I remember correctly, it sounds pretty darn subjective. And anytime something is really subjective, it can mean of a lot of things. On the other hand, at least it's 4 people, not 1 person. So I think having some criteria might be helpful, but once again, I will defer for at least a year to see how it goes, because I think this is critically important, and the more data we collect and the more information we have about the early implementation, I think the more thoughtful we can be in our approach to this. So it's not that don't have concerns. I do think this is a good start, and I applaud Mr. Palladino and whoever assisted him in this process of actually inserting a number. I have some concerns about that number, but to me it's a cop-out if you don't put that number in, because you're at least sending a message that working hard is necessary, so please do. I do want to remove from the bottom of this policy mask as a source, because to me, this is our policy, and it's distinguished by, shall we say, a somewhat increased rigor requirement. So let's take credit for it and not give it to mask just because they helped us with some verbiage. As long as that amendment is okay with my colleagues, I will take a motion to approve.
Adopt.
Adopt, well, we actually did, I guess we never actually adopted it,
Right,
did we?
right.
I sit corrected, yes, adopt. Yes, I will take a motion to adopt.
I'll make a motion to adopt.
Second.
I have a second. Any more discussion? Priscilla, any thoughts? Did you think it was fair?
Yeah, I think 70 is definitely a fair grade, especially if it's, I think history adding to it is a good requirement, because sometimes I see stuff online or even just talking in the real world and people don't have that basic history knowledge, and I think it's very important. And I personally like history, so I also think it's a good thing to know. And I think 70 is a very fair requirement, especially for a college prep class.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate your comments. And I'm always embarrassed when I see that, I don't know, some huge percentage of the country couldn't pass the citizenship test that we give to immigrants to become citizens. So that's always embarrassing. So if they get a good history course, maybe that'll help them with that knowledge. But thank you, Priscilla. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? 4-0-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you.
Thank you, Scott.
Have a good night, Scott, and
Appreciate that.
and do not sit down, because otherwise you might be called again.
Thank you.
All right, let's see. Let's go back to the report of the superintendent. We have one item left under school committee, but we can do the superintendent first.
Did we want to do Director of Finance?
Oh, my apologies. Yes.
Not my lucky day either. Well, in your packet, well, actually, before I begin, I just want to commend Mr. Russo on his and his team's hard work, because you asked me, I think in September, if I had any concerns. And one of the things that I never have any concern about is the school lunch program. And that can be, very tricky in school districts. And Mr. Russo and his staff always run an excellent program, and I never have any concerns. And in fact, so much so that he, as he can, within his constraints and within the constraints of DESE and the USDA, helps out the schools. And I know we've talked about that in the past. We didn't really touch on it tonight, but I just wanted to just say again before I start, how much I appreciate having Mr. Russo and his staff and the wonderful job that they do.
Yes,
So, and there's
his
one
team of
thing that we
managers-
don't worry about in the
Yes,
finance
his
office.
team of managers do a great job under Mr. Russo.
So, and I'm glad to hear that the students like the lunches too, because that is a challenge in a lot of school districts, and as you said, at the high school as well, with participation. So they're doing a great job. So in your packet, you have the October and November financial reports. We're approximately 40% into the school year as of the end of November, about 42%, and our budget is 39% expended. So we're on track with our expenditures and our encumbrances. Again, in September, I know when you asked if I had any concerns about anything, and I said no. But things have changed a little bit since then, particularly in out-of-district transportation, vendor transportation. So that is something that we are watching very closely. Last week, the superintendent, the director of transportation, the out-of-district coordinator, and student services director and I met to go over some of our routes, and we were able to identify some savings. So we are predicting a deficit in out-of-district transportation at this point in time, but we've chipped away at that by combining some routes, and Ms. Ferrera works very well with our vendors and was able to, ask them to help us by combining some routes, by adding some children on other routes. So we have been able to work together to chip away at that. So when I look at the budget, I'm looking at all of our budget lines, but predominantly salaries, out-of-district tuition, and out-of-district transportation. So those are the big three that can kind of, send your budget in one way or the other. So all told, we can cover this deficit right now. We have a small surplus in salaries, and that changes throughout the year with open positions being filled, people on leaves if they're unpaid. So we watch that very closely with our salary projections. So right now we have a small surplus in salary, so we're looking at that. In out-of-district tuition, we also have a bit of a surplus. We have about $136,000 left of the current year's circuit breaker that we have to spend. So if we do have to dip into that for some of the transportation deficit, that would be a place to go, because we do have to spend that amount by law. So right now, I believe that we can cover this out-of-district transportation deficit, and this can change also. We have some routes that are will sometimes end. Some of the McKinney-Vento routes won't be all year. So this is if we're predicting it all year, as if the students stayed. So one thing I will want to bring to your attention is with these routes, it's been a bit of a difference from last year. Last year, we had 69 students total in vendor transportation. Right now we have 36. Well, what's the difference? The difference is we're not transporting to a lot of the McKinney-Vento routes, to the shelter routes. So those have gone way down. The costs of that have gone way down. So you'll see that we're spending more in the special ed routes than we are in the McKinney-Vento and Foster routes, because we don't have as many students that we're transporting for those routes. But we do have students on the special education routes, and these routes have increased in cost. So just for an example, the average cost per route per day this year is $246. Last year, it was $163. So we have, and that's driven by, when we had more of the McKinney-Vento routes, those are cost shares with other districts. So our share might be $100 a day. We have less and less of those. We do have some pricier out-of-district special education routes. We have several that are we have 4 routes that are in the $300 per day this year. We have 6 routes that are $200 per day. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 routes that are in the $400 per day. So that's the difference right there between last year and this year, because you might say, well, what has changed so much? And that's what the big difference is. The routes, we have some costly routes as compared to last year, and we have more special education routes that are more expensive than the McKinney, Vento, and Foster routes. So all that being said, that we are definitely watching the transportation closely, and that changes. Just 2 days ago, we were notified of some other students, some McKinney-Vento homeless students. So that we're working together and just trying to keep a close watch on it. Right now, we don't have to. We're not dipping into any of the reserves, the circuit breaker that we're using for next year's budget, so that's good. We still are using what we planned from transportation revolving, which is approximately $100,000. If we had to, we could go further into that this year. So I'm not overly concerned, but we're being watchful with that. So I think that's really all I have for the budget update, unless there's any questions. Yes.
Yes, I was just wondering, on like the Cape Cod Collaborative, is that part of that transportation routes that you're talking about?
Yes, so we do transport some students to the 2 Cape Cod Collaborative schools. I believe one of them we do on our own vehicles, and then another one we have a vendor going over there, because there's a school in Osterville and I believe a school in Yarmouth. So we do have our own bus going to one of them. And we did have at the time, too, another bus going, but I think due to driver shortage, that is one of the routes this year that we had to send out to a vendor.
All set? Anybody else? Questions for Kristen?
No questions, no, thank you.
So, if I heard you correctly, we have about $136,000 cushion. I'm not saying that's a big number, but at least it's a little bit of a cushion. I noticed that we're basically on budget in the 3 schools for substitute teachers and nurses. That's always reasonable. It's good to see that. Overspending would be a bad sign for multiple reasons. Is it fair to say that you're cautiously optimistic, assuming we don't get smacked by unusual out-of-district children? Is that a fair statement?
I would say so, yes, I would.
Okay. The McKinney-Vento money, we get that approved in the Springtown meeting warrant. Is that a correct statement?
Sometimes it's been in the spring and it's been in the fall. I
don't recall it being this fall.
Right, we didn't do it this fall. We didn't
Right.
have it. Actually, did we do it this fall from leftover? It was last year's?
Yeah, we did.
Last spring, okay.
So when we get that approved, that's for money that already exists and is owed to us, correct?
Correct.
Where does that money go?
That money gets deposited into the transportation revolving account.
Okay, so is that included, is that another source of comfort that you haven't included that money yet into the operations, the LEA budget?
Correct. The transportation revolving.
Not the LEA, I should
Right,
say, non-net.
right. So I haven't, anything I have included in transportation revolving is what we've actually received and deposited.
And that's about 70,000, something like that?
Yes.
Okay, so that would add to the 136 on the assumption that we got approximately the amount. And I know that number fluctuates depending on the legislature, but, okay.
And also too, in our transportation revolving, we are taking in funds every month from several different surrounding school districts that we transport their students on our vehicles that are going to
Yep.
places. So that helps a little, it helps offset the cost of that, and those funds get deposited into the transportation revolving fund, so.
Okay, I'm good. Everybody else good? Good. Okay, thank you, Kristen.
You're welcome, thank you.
Okay. Final item under the superintendent,
Yes, sir.
minor
Okay.
detail.
All right, so let's begin with, in the superintendent's newsletter, the bill and payroll warrants, and I ask that you vote to approve those.
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
2 seconds, we'll call it Roger, okay? And any questions, concerns? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain? 400.
Thank you. I also have two gifts that I would ask you to approve. One is from the Maurice and Ann Makepeace Family Foundation for $20,000 to the Wareham Public Schools, providing support to the school district. And second is a $160 donation by Noah Young to the Wareham Public Schools, supporting the high school drama department, the middle school music and band department, and the elementary school band. I ask that you accept these two gifts, these very generous gifts, with great appreciation.
Amen to the great appreciation. Any concerns? All those in, motion, please.
Motion to accept those gifts?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain? 400. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Our last meeting 2 weeks ago was the budget hearing, and I presented a proposed budget that I was calling a level service plus budget, which was a budget of $38,244,686, which is a total increase of $2,155,185, or a 5.9% increase. I ask that you vote that as our budget for the FY27 school year.
Well, I have some thoughts, but I'll wait for a motion. Do I have a motion to approve?
I would make a motion to approve. In the past, we've had to approve it net and non-net. Do we not have to do that?
We do not at this time.
Okay.
no.
Okay. Then I make a
point, though.
motion to approve $38,244,686.
Yeah,
I still have that conflict
yes,
of interest.
exactly. Yeah, that's fine.
So I'll abstain from.
That's fine.
tonight, okay.
Yeah. Any other concerns or questions? So, did I have a second? You had you
I made a motion. Yep.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. So, I don't want anybody to think that we are not sensitive to the needs of the town, but we also have an obligation to ask for what we think are important to the students and the families of the community. So we have no idea what the future will bring, but we will know a lot more about the town's ability to afford this number, which is almost a 6% increase by the end of January. And the significance of the end of January is when we will get the governor's first crack at the budget for next year. It's called House One. They literally publish the cherry sheets, and one of the things on the cherry sheets is Chapter 70. That's by far the biggest biggest number, or at least the biggest number that we care about. So stay tuned, but I think it's appropriate for us to say this is what we need and adjust as necessary based on our very cooperative and collegial relationship with the town administrator. So we'll see what happens. Having said all that, I guess we are ready for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, you have to,
I'm abstaining.
okay. All those in favor? Aye. Aye.
No.
All those against? No. And you're abstaining.
Abstain.
Okay, that
Can
does
we,
not
can we just,
pass.
can I just ask
Oh,
that
passes.
you say why you're abstaining, so people know?
Oh,
Yes.
I
we
know
have a
why,
quorum,
but-
it's 2-1, so it passes. Sorry. Yes, thank you.
But I think it's important that people know why,
I'm just abstaining for a conflict of interest.
Yes.
Because I have a family member who works in the school district.
not because you're,
Right. Not because I don't approve of the budget.
Right.
Okay, so we do have a vote. Do you care to share your no vote? I respect whatever decision you make, but if you'd like to share, feel free. Or not. It's up to you.
I mean, I'd rather not, but
And then don't.
I'm just saying,
Then don't. I don't want you to do something you don't prefer not to do. And this will not be the last vote on the budget. I am certain of that. So for the moment, we have done what we are asked to do. And to repeat, that makes it 2-1-1, which passes because we do have a quorum, and that's 2-1 in favor. Okay.
Thank you. One more item, sir.
Excuse me?
I have one more item.
Oh, please.
We spoke in executive session about a side letter agreement for the current Unit A contract, a change in Appendix E, Section B, Number 4, the salary adjustment schedule and work year for department chairs. I ask that we change it from department chairs of grades 6 to 12 to department chairs of grades pre-K to 12. And the reason for this request is that so all of our department chairs will be able to receive the stipend benefit when they go to retire.
Thank you. This requires a vote. Do I have a motion to approve?
so moved.
So moved. Second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? 4-0-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see. We have done a good job on our agenda. We have one last item on our agenda, unless somebody wants to bring up any other business, and that is the contract with our new superintendent, who will begin service on July 1 of next year, has been successfully negotiated, and I ask that the members of the school committee officially approve it so I can sign it. She has, this is Dr. Amy Hartley Madison. She has already signed it, and I have told her that we will be voting tonight so I can return it to her as a fully executed document. Do I have a motion to approve the contract?
So moved.
Second.
Motion to approve from Kevin, second from Roger. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 4-0-0. Thank you very much. Is there any other business that people would like to bring before the committee?
Could I just bring up one thing from earlier tonight?
You realize, this is normally me.
I do.
So
I do.
You're joining,
I do, but I do want to say that, like, tonight in open participation, we do have this policy where we don't respond, and I appreciate that, and I understand why we have that policy. So in the moment, we don't get into a back and forth. But I would like to say, I mean, we received a lot of gifts tonight, and I would like to maybe give the gift of clarification, basically saying that the school committee appreciates the work that paras do. I think I can speak for most of us when I say that. I know I'm speaking for myself right now, though. We know that hardworking, caring paraprofessionals make a huge difference in the building. They create relationships with kids that are very important. And we mean no disrespect to the paras by the actions that we are taking in the contract that we are proposing. We know the job can be difficult, and again, we know the importance of those relationships. So we do not believe that paras who work hard are not worth it. On the contrary, that's why I would like them to accept the gift of a 3-year contract, because I think it's a very fair contract that offers a fair wage and a substantial percentage increase, and I hope they don't see that as an insult. I'm sorry that many of them felt that way tonight, and I hope that the union president shares with all members the actual specifics of that contract. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. And I would point out, they have always had a 3-year contract. This is not a change from the past. Okay, any other business that people would like to bring, members would like to bring before the committee? Thank you for your participation. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion. A second?
Second.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, you didn't vote. Aye, aye.
I don't think you have to officially vote on it.
400.